world, my name is Nicholas Montez and you're watching my YouTube channel, The Teenage Movie Critic. Welcome back to another YouTube channel, everybody. I'm so excited to have y'all back here again. And in today's video, we're going to be doing another celebration cinema review for the first two Kung Fu Panda films. Now, if you guys don't know me, these are probably some of my favorite films of all time. I'm really tied with both of these movies because they are just so good. I love the first movie, just such a unique story and characters and action sequences. The second film I feel like expands on it. And I rewatched them today to get ready for this review because as I was doing these past reviews like with Up and Nemo and stuff, I was like, I probably need to rewatch these movies to get a better understanding as to why did I give these scores the way I did. So let's go ahead and get started. And let's just talk about Kung Fu Panda. And I think the story of this movie is probably one of the greatest stories ever, that they took this very weird concept of this panda doing Kung Fu, and they created it into something so meaningful and so impactful and so powerful, where you enter the first movie, right? And you enter the movie as it does this 2D animation sequence, which the animation is a standout of these two films, which I will talk about later on. But it starts out with this 2D animation scene where this panda warrior's walking through this valley, walks into a restaurant, eats, and then just starts beating the crap out of all these bandits. And it's very Jack Blacky, but it's also very stylistic in the way that the film works. And then, he teams up with all the other villains, and you realize, oh no wait, this is just a dream. And it establishes that this character, Po, the panda, wants to learn Kung Fu, is in love with Kung Fu. As you see all the action figures, he's trying to get the ninja star on the wall. And then also establishes that he's adopted, and he was adopted from a goose. Then he also realizes that his dad wants him to be in the noodle business, not really Kung Fu. He doesn't really know about the Kung Fu that he likes. Then it introduces our other characters with Master Shifu and the Furious Five, that they're really skilled in stuff, which were from the dream. Then you introduce the old turtle, Oogway. And also get this questioning of who is this Tai Lung villain? And so you have to create this guy. Whoever this guy is, we probably know is dangerous. So we're gonna need a warrior. And then they introduce the Dragon Scroll. So it's like, it sets up all these things that are executed well. But it sets up all this stuff. It's like, okay, Tai Lung, I'm guessing that's like a bad guy. So we're gonna need to, and then we have the Dragon Scroll. The Dragon Scroll, the Dragon Warrior. Alright, so that's probably gonna be the guy that's gonna defeat Tai Lung, whoever this dangerous snow leopard guy is. Then Po hears about this, and he wants to go and see who's gonna be the new Dragon Warrior. Who's gonna be the new Dragon Warrior, and this will give him the chance to see his favorite heroes in action. And he gets chosen as he gets rocketed up in the sky and falls right in front of Oogway, and he's so confused. And throughout the movie, Shifu is just trying to kick him out, but he starts to believe. And I think that's the beauty of what makes this story of the movie so beautiful, is that throughout the entire film, he's just doubting him. But once Oogway dies, he starts to realize, I need to believe in. I need to believe. He's not gonna do good, but you start to realize he's doing good. He's doing good in all this, and when he finally gets the Dragon Scroll, he's learned everything. The Furious Five come back beaten. He finally gets the Dragon Scroll, opens it, and there's nothing there. And it's like, the thing is, it's like, with the Tai Lung stuff, you're like, oh, so you explored that. But it's not really explored all that well. I mean, it is, but, you're like, who is that? You get it explained. You get the Dragon Scroll. It's this one that gets the secret powers of the Dragon Warrior. Nothing's there. But then you get the secret to the noodle soup. He adds nothing. And it's like, you don't have to add something special. To make something special, you just have to believe it's special. And it sets up back at the Dragon Warrior thing. If you want to defeat Tai Lung, the only thing you have to do is believe. And that's a powerful theme. I was watching it, I was like, I love that theme. That's a great theme right there. And then so he defeats Tai Long, and everybody is proud of him. Mr. Ping doesn't even care. But then also, in the way that happens to him, this Dragon Warrior brings peace to Shifu, which I love. Now we're going to talk about Kung Fu Panda 2. And of course, it introduces us to our villain. What he's trying to do, he was a bad guy. He's trying to get all this metal from all the lands. Sets up the next journey in Poe's training. Has an action scene, but also develops more of a parentage, and kind of develops all that. And basically, that whole film is about finding who your parentage is, who trying to get your scars to, like, scar healing and inner peace. It's a great story. So I think these two, I will say the story of the first film probably is better, where it's more complex, but the second film dives deeper and more into stuff that I thought were more interesting. So I love the story of these two films. And the next part we're going to talk about here is the characters, and I think that these two movies are have some of the best DreamWorks characters in all of history. Of course, you have Jack Black as Poe, our main character of these films, and he has that Jack Blackiness, but he also brings a certain esque to that character where, and I love the arc that he goes on within these two films, where he goes on just starting out as the fan, learns Kung Fu, learns to bring peace to this guy, and when you get into this, and he just learns this to be this Dragon Warrior and be that hero that everybody wants him to be. And then you get Kung Fu Panda 2. He's grown, but not in size, but in character. And to me, that's one of the best things about his character in the second film. As he starts to learn inner peace, he starts to explore more of his parentage, which is kind of a weird plotline, because it's like, didn't you already know that you were adopted? I mean, come on now. But even then, when you get all the other characters with Dustin Hoffman as Shifu, you get Angelina Jolie as Tigress, which was my introduction to Angelina Jolie in this movie. Plus Jackie Chan as Monkey, Seth Rogen as Mantis, Lucy Liu as Viper, David Cross as Crane, James Hong as Mr. Ping. All these delightful characters. My favorite characters besides Poe are probably Tigress and Shifu, because they really have the deepest character arcs, where Tigress was one of Shifu's trainees. If you watch the Secret of the Scrolls little animated thing, if you watch the Secrets of the Furious Five, she was one of the first people of the Furious Five to be one of Shifu's masters. And after watching those, you understand what Tigress is feeling in all these, where she felt like she could have been the Dragon Warrior, where she felt like, she kind of felt like the disappointment, but she still is doing what she does best and being the badass tiger that she is known to be. But then even all the other characters, they're all likable. Of course, Seth Rogen is great. But the thing is, he doesn't do what Donkey Kong did in the Mario movie. He brings a sort of different thing to Mantis, but he does something different with it. Of course, he has the Seth Rogen laugh. But he brings a great esque to it. Then, of course, Lucy Liu as Viper, great. David Cross, Crane, great. Shifu was also great as he struggles with this arc of raising a son, and it created, all that stuff of the Dragon Warrior went to his head, and he created a monster. And so when he decides to go fight him in the end, it's like he's paying for his mistake. And so it's like the characters in this movie are very deep, very lengthy, and very, very layered, that I really loved. But even then, once you get to the end of the movie, once he beats Tai Lung, he's been brought peace to the valley and him. And that's an amazing character arc. Plus, James Hong, I think, was also a nice little addition to the character with Mr. Ping, as he's also a great supportive father and pretty funny. And I thought all the characters in here. And then, of course, you get the second movie where you introduce Master Rhino, Master Ox, and Master Croc. all of them are pretty badass, but it doesn't really get interesting once you get to the sequence where they're in the jail, and they don't want to leave because they know that if they fight against Shang, then Shen is going to turn the weapon on the city, and they don't want to do that. So the best way, stay back, but they end up fighting anyway, and they almost die. But I thought that was actually like really well done with those characters. So yeah, I think the characters throughout these two, and then even when you get into the second movie, the first movie, The Furious Five, do not respect Poe at all. But in the next movie, they do. And it's awesome. As, like, you can see the team dynamic and the way they're doing it. As they're, like, trying to fit all the dumplings in Poe's mouth as to how many he can fit. Like, they've grown to the team they're being. And they kind of made the team, Poe's made the team a little bit more fun. And I love that. And even as the relationship between Poe and Tigress, I really like that since they're probably the most important members of this team. So I loved the way they did these characters in these two films. Now, of course, as always, these films really did something impressive with animation. Now, obviously, it kind of looks a little bit like a Disney movie sometimes, but at the same time, the animation is gorgeous. Whether it's these shots of the sun and Shifu looking out and sitting there, or even the shots of the Jade Palace up in the mountains, or even the 2D animation stuff that they do, whether it's the opening sequence in the first film, and even in the second movie with the opening sequence and exploring Shen's backstory, it's incredibly great. And even with the 2D animation they do with the scene with Poe's mom, it's excellent. The animation is perfect. It's great. But even then, it makes it look real as these are animals we're looking at, animal characters wearing pants and clothes, and it's awesome. So I really love the animation in this film. And I think the action is also another great part of this film that makes these films so great. Besides all the likable characters and the great story and the animation, the action is what really puts this film on just this whole other level. And of course, we all love action stories. But what makes this movie so unique with the action is that we're having animals do it. Animals that stand on hind legs, and animals that can talk, but also animals that can fight. And I think the way they do it is that all the characters have unique ways of fighting. So for example, Tigress, she uses the techniques of a tiger by running on all fours, but also has that roar, but also, fights like a tiger. Then you got Monkey, swings on vines and uses his tail and feet and legs in all these different ways. Plus, you got Crane, he flies, uses his wings of surveillance or something like that. Wings of destruction, and even, uses them to bat things away. Mantis, because he's a bug, he can hit things really hard. Viper, she uses her little snake skills and slithers around in fast moving ways. Shifu, he's Red Panda, so he has to fight in the fastest ways possible, so he's a little bit more quicker than usual. And then Poe, I would say he's probably the most uniquely way in the way he fights, as he uses the weaknesses that everybody's been telling him throughout the entire film, and he uses those strengths to fight against Tai Lung at the end of the movie. And it continues that in Kung Fu Panda 2, except he uses inner peace. Nothing of the fatness is done with the second movie. He's just using inner peace, and it's perfect, and that you can tell how much he's grown. Then you get into the second movie with Master Ox and Master Croc, and even the villains too, like Master Ox and Master Croc, they have unique ways of fighting with the swords and everything, and using their tails and kind of using their horns and all that. It's great. And then when you get to Tai Lung, same thing with Tigress, where he fights like a cat, plus uses his roar and runs on all fours. Then you get to Shen, and he fights like a peacock, he uses his big feathers, uses his little knifey thing. It's all fantastical and very well crafted. So I love the action in this movie, and it's also really, really enjoyable to watch and a lot of fun. Now, honestly, another great part about this movie is the score for the film. Well, actually, for films, I think the score in the first two Kung Fu Panda films are fan-freaking-tastic. Especially in that first film, I mean, Hans Zimmer did a masterful job. I mean, just the sound of the flutes and the way they did it reminded me a little bit like Lion King, as he also did the score on The Lion King. But also, just, it's absolutely gorgeous and beautiful. And it's like, this feels like a score for this specific film, and it's just absolutely amazing. I love the score. And for me, I think this is another great part of what makes these movies amazing, as they're literally comedies, as it's a film about a panda doing kung fu, and it is a comedy. And, like, but it's not in just doing all these dumb jokes. They use it in the greatest way possible, where it's done with Jack Black, it's done with Jackie Chan, it's done with Shifu, and all of the jokes, and it's really because of done of Jack Black that makes this movie funny and great. It's really just done because of Jack Black. Jack Black's humor is hilarious. Everything that he brings of Poe's jokes and humor is absolutely fantastic. I love the humor. And then you get the second film, some of the characters get a little bit funnier, especially like Mantis and Shifu, where he's like explaining about the inner peace stuff, where he's like, most people train inner peace in a cave just like this, without the slightest length of food or water, but nothing can, sometimes I think I can, but the day when you became Dragon Warrior was the most painful day of my life. And it's like this actually kind of works in this movie. I'm like, Shifu's kind of getting funny. Okay, I'm actually kind of liking this. So it's, but honestly, throughout the entire film, it's honestly just so funny. And I think the villains of the first two Kung Fu Panda films are fantastic. Of course, you got the first villain in Tai Lung, which has this deep backstory where he was raised by Shifu, the first-born raiser, as he adopted him. And, you know, he grew up to be this very violent fighter, he wanted the Dragon Scroll. And throughout the whole story that Tigress is explaining to Poe in that scene, it's like, Tai Lung is this dangerous guy. Like, he grew up into this dangerous figure, and he got locked away. And even when you have the fights, and even then, like, the story of him is a little bit, you know, not that great. But when you get into the scenes when he's fighting and you approach him, he feels like an actual threat. He is a threat to our heroes, to our characters, that you think the Furious Five just defeated him. But then you start to see the bridge move and then flick, and you realize, oh wait, we're not winning in this. He broke out of that. But you also got to realize he's getting stronger each time he defeats his opponents. He just he just did this special move on Monkey, and you realize, oh, we're in trouble here. And then you get that fight between Shifu and him, and it's absolutely powerful because it really communicates a lot of the emotions that the characters are feeling, and it just really does a great job of doing that. But even then, when you realize he can't touch Poe, he's not no match for him, and it's absolutely incredible when he gets defeated, as he's this hateable character. So I love Tai Lung. But then you get Shen, who has this a little bit more deeper backstory, as he was raised to be this guy, like, because it's much like Tai Lung. We don't really understand what he does that's so terrible. He was obsessed with fireworks, he did some bad stuff, and his parents banished him from Gongmen City. But then he returns, and he shows him this present to the Master's Council, and he's like, this is a gift. It's your parting gift. I bought you a part of you. The one that can part you. Part of you there, part of you here, part of you there, part of you way over there, staining the wall. And as soon as he says that, it's like, oh yeah. you're right. This guy's dangerous. This is a big threat. We need to stop him. And then you realize, oh wait, the reason why he was so obsessed with fireworks is because he wanted to make a cannons out of that. Because he saw a dangerous potential in that. And then it makes it even more cruel when he just throws out his father's throne. And it's like, it kind of reminded me of Killmonger in a way where he just disrespects that culture of that city. And it's like, it's crazy in the way they did that. And then even all the choices that he makes throughout the film where he's crazy, but then he also, like, he'll do anything to kill all these people, to kill the panda. He's just so obsessed with it and wanting to kill them. And the person that performed this, I thought, did fantastic. And it's like, he doesn't want to let it go. The only thing that matters is what you choose to be now. And he decides to end up dead and crushed by his own machine. So I thought the villains of this movie were absolutely fantastic. And I would have to say Lord Shen is probably the best villain of the Kung Fu Panda franchise. And I think the last thing we're going to talk about here is just how rewatchable and quotable this movie is. How rewatchable and quotable these movies are. I think these movies are incredibly rewatchable. My sister and I love the first film. I tend to like the second movie more. I can literally copy the entire film. Well, not the entire all the movies, especially the first movie. I can copy the entire movie. Me and my sister can do that because we've watched this movie so many times. It's so rewatchable. It's so quotable, and it's such a great movie. I love Kung Fu Panda 1 and 2. And that is my review for Kung Fu Panda 1 and 2. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. All my social media stuff is in the about section over there. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.